Welcome everyone to the GGBL, the Goldglover Baseball League. Guys, this is a 30-team rebranded league in MLB The Show 21. I'm super excited. To finally get this thing underway. There's a lot of work being done on the back end and a lot of time spent to get this thing going. So I'm super excited. It is a passion project, to say the least. So let's get right into this series introduction video. We got some topics to cover before we really get down to the nitty-gritty here. So we've got the series intro, the roster creation, so how were rosters created, community involvement, team and the roster reveals. So we'll talk about teams, we'll reveal their rosters, upload schedule, and how we're going to use different platforms in order to make this series go to the next level. All right, so as you guys know, Rob Manfred, the MLB commissioner, has been in the news a lot about speed of play changes, the Atlanta All-Star game, political statements that were being made with that move, his inability to make harsh rulings on the Astros cheating scandal. You know, he suspended a couple players, whatever, but basically tapped them on the wrist and said, "Bad boys, you did dirty. We're not gonna do much of anything else. We're not gonna vacate your championship," right? And then even citing the World Series trophy as quote unquote just a piece of metal, right? That was kind of odd coming from the commissioner. The ineptitude of the replay system has been something widely talked about across a lot of different platforms, even amongst fans and players too. The replay system is terrible in Major League Baseball. The people that are running it not doing a very good job. Of course, umpires has been a big topic. The ineptitude of the umpires. I'm looking at you, Angel Hernandez. And all of this really has put baseball in kind of a baseball term. It's ripped the game at its seams. Seriously, the commissioner and his inability to be an effective leader has started this basically kind of like a downfall of baseball. And even, I forgot to mention this one. This one's a huge one. What he's done to minor league baseball, trying to consolidate and even try to dissolve some aspects of minor league baseball. It's got a lot of people put out of work. It's got a lot of people pissed off at the commissioner for what he's trying to do with minor league baseball. So this is basically why the GGBL has come into existence, to be an alternative to Major League Baseball. Ultimately, guys, it's just really hard to make a series like this one, a rebranded type of series, where storied franchises like the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, etc. have all rebranded to something totally different or relocated to different cities entirely. It just doesn't make a lot of sense, and it doesn't seem reasonable that brands of their caliber and being as established franchises as they are and entrenched into the cities that they are would ever make that kind of financial or marketing move. They wouldn't do it. Which is why we're kind of piggybacking off of this storyline that fans and players are pissed off at the commissioner, Rob Manfred. Now, I'm not saying that this is totally realistic, but we are trying to draw a realistic line with this fantasy storyline. So all this anger amongst the fans and the players has opened up the door for another league to form, which is the Goldglover Baseball League. And to build off this fantasy story, the GGBL has thus acquired the MLB's minor league teams, the AAA level, the AA level, and the single A level, given everything Manfred has tried to do with minor league baseball. So this can kind of explain why the Erie Sea Wolves, the Montgomery Biscuits, the Fightin' Phils are still in our series, since you can't actually go in and you can't rebrand your minor league systems. You can't change the jerseys, you can't do a whole lot with them. So this can kind of explain why they're still around. So now that the GGBL has been formed, it naturally becomes a direct competitor to the MLB. So to keep things semi-realistic, not all MLB players chose to leave the MLB for the GGBL. So in this storyline, some players defected and some stayed behind. So to choose who stayed and who left, keeping it purely at random to capture player decisions, this was done by a card pack pull. So players that left the MLB for the GGBL were pulled from a baseball card box that I got from Walmart, of all places, to keep it as randomized as possible. So unfortunately, like a lot of our Diamond Dynasty luck in MLB The Show, no, we didn't pull Ronald Acuna or a Mike Trout, but we did get Bryce Harper, Mookie Betts, and Jacob deGrom. So of course, along with some other pretty solid players like Nick Castellanos, Randy Arozarena, Garrett Cole, Joey Wendell, these types of guys were also thrown in to that card pack pull. And if you'd like to see what players chose to leave the MLB for the GGBL, I've actually made a Google sheet that shows you this. This sheet can be found in the comment section. It's pinned and is also linked in the description of this video. And the sheet you're looking for is actually called GGBL Card Pack Pull, It's located all the way in the back of that Google Sheet. So make sure you guys go check that out if you want to see a list of the initial players to make their statement that, hey, I don't like the way that Major League Baseball is going. I'm headed over to the GGBL, where things are just better. I should mention that this Google Sheet has every single thing GGBL related, from rosters, stadium names, and search terms if you'd like to go find those stadiums to download for yourselves, the dimensions of those stadiums so you kind of get an idea of what's a short park, what's a big park, uniform designs, MLB teams that they replaced, etc., etc. It goes on and on and on. If you want to go check that out, it's like your GGBL Bible, so I would highly recommend that you do check that out if you want to get invested into the series. Oh, and I should mention that the official year number 1 roster is now available in the vault. It's called GGBL Official under the username Goldglover9. So give it a download and make sure you guys leave a like. Speaking of roster, I should mention that some players are coming back. They're coming out of retirement, just kind of like our XBA. Some players wanted to come out of retirement, like Joe Mauer, Evan Gattis, David Wright, Curtis Granderson, Chase Utley. So those 5 players are the guys that I chose basically because some of them had injuries that cut their career short, or they didn't get an extra opportunity to finish out their career somewhere. I feel like some of them still have a little bit left in the tank, and they could probably play at this level. A lot of minor leaguers are going to be at the pro level now in the GGBL, so I feel like they can still hang with the competition level and the play that they're going to be going up against. So those are 5 guys that I picked. I didn't want to get too crazy with it. Didn't want to throw in Barry Bonds or Griffey or, you know, all these legend type of players. Didn't get too crazy. I should mention that I also included Nick Markakis, one of my favorite players. So yes, it's actually 6 players, not 5. But I feel like that's a good little number there, a good little list, and they are also going to be included on the roster sheet. You guys will notice them on that sheet. So I'm sure you're wondering, Goldie, what did you do with the players who stayed behind, like Trout, Acuna, Chris Bryant? What'd you do with those guys? They still got to be around, right? Well, you're right, they are. They're still around. They're just in the free agent list. And that was done on purpose, because basically what I don't want to happen is, we all know with MLB The Show, the CPU does some really weird things at times. So what I didn't want to happen was, I didn't want the CPU to get tempted. I didn't want the CPU to see, oh, my Trout, 99 overall, he's in the free agents, go ahead and sign him, right? I didn't want that to happen, right? So you knock them down, you knock down the ratings basically to an unsignable rating, and then the CPU just doesn't touch them. They're like, they've got diseases. They don't want to be touched. So since these players are technically in the GGBL save file, I'm not opposed to having them come over to the GGBL in year 2, year 3, year 4, or beyond. This is just part of the fun as this series progresses. So I'm not against bringing in Mike Trout in year 2, kind of like a big reveal, like, oh, he's coming to the league, you know? That would be kind of fun to do. I'm not against it. Can definitely go that route eventually later on down the road. When the GGBL becomes a little bit more legitimate, I'm sure Mike Trout would want a piece of that action. One last thing about the roster is that on the roster sheet, you will notice, and even in gameplay, you might notice some fake players. So these fake players are Discord players, these Discord created prospects. And what I wanted to do is throw that group a little bit of a bone, because they definitely helped out with this series and driving the interest in it. So I wanted to throw them a bone. Guys, this league does have custom prospects, and that is a good way to showcase that, is that we do have Discord players in season 1. If you want a custom prospect, we'll talk about that in just a moment with community involvement, but the league does offer you the ability to have a player in the league. These are listed in purple, so if you go look on that roster sheet, they will be listed in purple. That's who those Discord players are, so you can kind of identify them and have them stand out amongst the rest. Community involvement. I want to make this one extremely clear. I want to make this section very, very, very clear, almost crystal clear. I did not do most of this on my own. To get this thing started, to get it off the ground, to get all the legwork going, I didn't do that alone, and I can't take credit for that. I had a ton of help along the way, from my mod team, my patron supporters, those in our Discord, along with some super talented logo and stadium creators in our community. You guys all deserve a huge pat on the back, a huge shout out, and a ton of credit for helping launch this thing. In fact, I'd like to take a moment in this video to shout out Kasabi, Sprohammer, and Spagoo, all for helping me bring these logos and a few stadiums to life. Guys, these are some really talented people, and if you're really looking for a logo or a stadium to be created for you, make sure you guys hit these dudes up. They obviously do amazing work, and it's one thing to start a unique league. It's another thing entirely to have your logos suck, okay? And your jerseys not be good. When I sent these logos that I made in Photoshop, and when I sent them out to these creators and they sent them back to me in the vault, I was floored. I couldn't believe how much they looked exactly like what I sent them. It's crazy. They did an amazing job. They did a bang up job, and I'm serious. Like, if the logos don't hit, if they don't work, you can't attach yourself to a team because the logo is just bad, right? It doesn't work. The league and the idea does not work. So it's a very, very important part of a creative league like this one to make sure that the logos and the uniforms and everything hits, right? They got to be good. They got to be fire. I think they are. You guys did an amazing job. And if you guys are out there looking for a stadium creator or somebody that you can go to create a really, really awesome logo, make sure you guys go check these dudes out. Their contact info and their social links are in the description, so please go check them out. I really want to make sure that those guys are thanked. I want to say a thank you to my mod team and patrons. This shout out is just for you guys. Watching Discord streams, creating uniforms, editing rosters, and helping create stadiums all look unique. I appreciate you guys more than you ever know. A lot of late nights, man. 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m. I mean, I had to work the next morning. You guys went above and beyond the call of duty to make this thing happen. And so I appreciate you guys. And I know I've told you in Discord, but I'm going to say it here in the video so all the people in the back can hear about it. You guys are amazing, and I appreciate you guys to the fullest extent. So now that I've said my thank yous and said my piece, let's get to how you guys in the community can get involved into this series. And as many of the original viewers will tell you, this channel is one of the very few that really dives deep in getting its community involved. I think it's a very important piece to content creation, is getting the community and your community involved into your series. So for the GGBL, you can become a custom prospect, as I mentioned a couple moments ago, through an open submission form found in the comment section and description of this video. So please follow the instructions on the form and send it off to me. You'll be chosen at random for the season's upcoming draft class. So keep in mind that this draft class is supposed to be created for June, right? So in June of year number 1, that's when this draft is coming. So make sure, if you guys are watching this video, get your submission in this open submission period if you want to be chosen. So also keep in mind, these guys will be chosen at random, and the overall rating for these randomly chosen prospects will be a 60 overall rating and a C potential. Now, the reason for this being, you didn't have to do much work. I mean, let's face it, right? It's just an open submission. It's chosen at random. Didn't have to do a lot of work, right? So 60 over, and we got to have some grindy project type of players anyway in the league. Not everybody can be good. So 60 overall rating with a C potential will be the randomly chosen prospects. If you want to make your prospect better, or you want to win your prospect, in order to have a 70 overall B potential player, you must compete with one another in the GGBL Weekly Fantasy Challenge. This will always be found on the channel's website in the GGBL section, and it's pretty simple to play. You basically just choose a starting 9 for the week of GGBL uploads, and as your players accrue stats for that week, I'll keep track of the point totals and let you know if you won that week through email. Players to be chosen from are decided on by me and are predetermined. All you have to do is pick a catcher, a first baseman, a second baseman, so on and so forth from the list that I've already given you guys. Place in the top 5 of the most points for that week, and you'll win a prospect for the upcoming draft. There's going to be other prizes and other ways that we do better prospects as well, like a 75 A potential type player. That is for a later date. I don't want to throw too much at you guys here in this intro video. I also want to let you know how the draft is going to work a little bit later on towards the series when we start getting closer towards that draft. As you guys know, in MLB The Show, there is no draft class creation. You literally have to draft every player first, and then you can go in and you can import or you can edit players around. So that's how that's going to work. There's a process that I've concocted up with my mod team, bounced ideas off of, and how we're going to make this work. But it is possible the way we want to do it. I just don't want to overload you guys quite yet. So more to come about the draft, more to come on how to earn even better prospects into a draft, like say 75 A potential type players. And again, just a reminder, this will only be found on the website. The weekly fantasy challenge will only be found on the website. So make sure you head there every week in order to play. Since this series will be posting on Mondays and Thursdays with live streams on Fridays, the weekly fantasy challenge will be available on Sunday nights. So you guys need to get your picks in on Sunday nights in order for your picks to count for that week. Another cool part about community involvement about your prospects is that we are also offering you, once you win your prospect, to create a player Twitter account. So if you want your player to be able to speak his mind or speak freely about some things and add some personality to it, that would be pretty fun. We did this for the XBA and it was really a awesome thing for that series, to create some drama, to create some storylines, and that's how you can interact with other players in the league as well, because it's kind of cool that way with custom prospects, like jabbing back at each other or becoming friends or offering respect to one another. It just adds a different layer and a different immersion level to the series. So if you'd like to create a player Twitter account upon winning a prospect or earning a prospect through random selection in the open submission form, please do so. And again, I will only be allowing people to create prospects if you've won a prospect. So I know who you guys are going to be, so don't try to pull the fast one. I know who you are that have won a prospect, so I've got your info, right? I know who you are. So don't try it. I should also add on to this by saying there are team Twitter accounts, and those ones that are out there are up on your screen here: the Nashville Heat, Carolina Blue Sox, so on and so forth. Those are mod team members that have now claimed their stake at writing up Twitter posts for that team account. So those are the official ones. If you'd like to become an official Twitter handler for these teams or one of these teams, please message me through Twitter. Please message me through Discord. And obviously, if I know you, the better. If I don't know you, I'm going to have to get to know you a little bit before I claim that you are an official person that can write for the channel. Obviously, anybody can go out and tweet some pretty heinous things, and we don't want that to happen. So it might take some time for, official Twitter accounts to pop up, but these will have to be approved by me. If they are not approved by me, they will not be followed by me, and they will definitely not be shared by me. So if you ever want to know if one of the accounts are official or not, just make sure that you note if I'm following them or not. If I'm not following them, they're not legit. So make sure you guys know that. Speaking of the website, you'll be able to find articles to keep you up to date on all things GGBL in case you've missed it. You'll also find team sites where you can follow your team more closely as the league advances from week to week. Now, with 30 teams and only one person editing it, namely me, I'm probably going to need some help with some other editors out there or some writers out there who want to get a little exposure, want to actually contribute with this as well. So that'd be kind of fun to get you guys writing up some team articles and things that you can send to me through email, and I will post on the website. There will also be a multimedia section on each team site where you can download pictures, you can download screenshots coming straight from the source. You'll also be able to find a schedule there as well for each and every team. That way you can kind of really see what the teams are looking like in June and July and August, like who are they playing down the stretch. This is just another way for you guys to be able to kind of know what's coming in the series when I can't show you everything. That's what the website is good for, is that it is able to supplement what I can't show you in YouTube videos. It'll be able to drive traffic there so you guys can kind of get a better feel of how your teams are doing, what's the schedule looking like. Another way to get the community involved, I'll be doing random GGBL type of giveaways, plus trivia nights inside of our Discord. So if you're not in there yet, please head on over. The link to our Discord is actually below in the description and in the pinned comments. So if you guys would like to go there, please join our Discord and join the conversation. There will be a GGBL section for all things GGBL. And again, if you want to talk about the league, do so. Make sure you're remaining respectful, or our mods will have to take control of this situation. I will be probably giving away some merchandise, maybe some hats, maybe some special items, maybe a a baseball, something like that with a logo on it or something. So we'll figure out what exactly we want to do, but this is just another way to do community involvement. One last thing of how to get the community involved, you will have noticed already if you've been looking at the Google Sheet, 18 of our 30 teams have custom stadiums created by community members or by myself. And that's done on purpose so that you guys can submit your own designs for the remaining 12 and search for other designs out in the vault. Just like in real life, when teams leave their home stadiums and build a new one, as a league, we'll be on the lookout for community designs or suggestions, and I'm even open to getting your guys' stadiums into the series. It's gotta be good though, right? It's gotta be good. I'm not about the dinosaurs and the UFOs flying all over the place, right? It's gotta be a good stadium. So if you feel like yours is good and it's legit, send it to me, give me a screenshot, maybe give me the search term so I can go take a look at it. But if I really like your suggestion, I really like your design, I will post it into the Discord and we will be voting on it in Discord only. We won't be voting on it on YouTube. We won't have an open forum. It will be through Discord only. So that's just another way to get involved in the Discord. Every few years, we'll vote on what team needs a new venue and we'll go from there. It's not going to be every single team. It's not going to be all 12 that get a new stadium, but it will be giving us more options as to what teams can do with their stadium moves. Now, I'm sure once this thing gets going, I'll think of more ways to involve everyone, but for now, that's all I'd like to reveal. A couple other ideas have not been solidified, so that's still in the brainstorming session, but for the most part, what I've discussed here is what I would really like to do right from day one. So before we get into team reveals and rosters, I'd like to go over the league rules. Now, baseball is baseball at the end of the day, right? There's not a whole lot that you can change, at least as far as MLB The Show is concerned. It's not like 2K where you can change the rules and vote as a league to where you want to have your rule changes, right? So I know for a fact that we will be using a universal DH, so there will be no pitchers that will be hitting. For some people that might be disappointing, but I know for a lot of people they've wanted the universal DH, myself included, and we will not be using the extra inning runner on second base. The slider set is also available to you guys out in the vault, so if you guys would like to go check that out, it is called GGBL Sliders Official. Basically what those sliders are, you may have to tweak it depending on how you play or how you like to watch the CPU games. Feel free to tweak it however you'd like to, but for us, we need a little bit more offensive sliders simply because you have guys like Jacob deGrom going up against guys that are primarily minor leaguers. You got a lot of minor league talent. Plus you got custom prospects that we don't have a whole lot of data on, right? We don't have a whole lot of idea of how they play or how they hit or how they field. Are they fast? Or like, we don't know, right? We don't know for sure. So for now, in the early stages, we're going to go a little bit more offensive slider set. And as the league progresses, we'll try to tone that down a little bit because eventually guys are going to progress. They're going to get better. They're going to shoot up in rating. And we just don't want a slugfest every single time that we see some simulation. So these sliders from year one will change all the way up until year 2, year 3, year 4, however long we do this. So we'll find that happy balance eventually. But for year number 1, through test simulations that I've done, we need a little bit more offense going on. So slider sets right now, those are the official ones that we're going to be using, and we'll tweak them as needed. Another cool league rule that I think is going to be kind of fun is that every June, the GGBL has a call-up month. And basically what that is that you take the two most underperforming players and you drop them. You drop them down to the AAA system, AA system, wherever you want to, and then you call up the most high achievers. So that's probably going to end up being your custom prospects, which will give you a chance and give your guy a chance to shine and win over the hearts of the viewership. And basically what this does is that it ensures that people are being given chances and giving shots to people so that they can see their players, they can see their players play. And again, before we go into the team reveals and the rosters, talking about league rules, I will be usering the Richmond Good Boys. So that's going to be my team that I user, and we're not very good right now. We're not very good. The roster needs a little bit of work. We're very young. We got some top 50 prospects. We're pretty solid for the future. But the reason why I want to use your team is I want a little bit of payoff for this thing, man. This took a lot of work and a lot of hard work getting this thing off the ground. And I feel like in a lot of franchise series, a lot of people just want a user team to root for. They want to follow only one team. They don't want to follow 30 teams. They want to follow one team. So if you guys are into the user aspect of that, that's why we are throwing the Richmond Good Boys in as a user team. And rest assured, guys, this is going to be played on Legend difficulty, and the user settings are not going to be easy for me. There's going to be times that I suck. There's going to be times that I look like I'm hitting the cover off the baseball, right? I'm fielding well, I'm pitching well, it looks like I'm dominating. But then there's going to be times that I fail, that I falter. And that's just the way that it's going to be. That's how it's going to roll, and that's okay. Are we going to win the championship in year number 1? No. Are we going to win it in year 2? Possibly. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work, but I will make sure that I'm staying in check and things are realistic to a point where I'm not totally dominating the CPU in every way that we go. So you guys will be at the forefront of free agency and trading, voting, and things of that nature, transactions, call-ups, things like that. So yes, you guys will be involved, but not every team's going to be usered. Now's the moment you guys have all been waiting for, the roster reveal. And before we dive into each and every single team, I want to give the opportunity for other of my favorite creators and my friends, my YouTube friends, to come on in and tell you guys who they wanted to see in the GGBL. So these players that they list off here were not included in the initial purge of the major league. So they weren't included in that GGBL card pack pull when we figured out who was going to come over from the MLB to our league. So these players, they were allowed to pick 2. They picked 2 players that they wanted to see come over from the majors into this league, and they're going to offer up their reasons why. They're going to let you guys know, hey, here's my channel, here's who I am. Make sure you guys go check these dudes out. I would consider them my friends on YouTube. They're great people, they're great creators, they're even better people. Make sure you guys go check those dudes out. They're very, very good at what they do. So let's take it away, and then we'll get right into the full rosters of each team. And I gotta say, I feel kind of weird saying this, but you know what? Jay from T&J. Let's get started.
Thanks for having me on, and I am so excited for my 2 selections here in the GGBL. This is going to be a fun league. Now, the first guy needs no introduction, Christian Yelich, an MVP winner. He has so many accolades to his name. He is one of the most complete players as far as the outfield has gone in the last decade. He's almost at about 10 years in the league. But he's still coming on age 29 and going into his 30s. He's still got a lot of baseball left. I mean, you're not going to have to worry about him regressing quickly. He's going to be a guy that's going to be a very good player for your lineup. Going to get on base quite a bit. Always going to hit for power. And Christian Yelich, one of the best players in the game today. Now, second, I'm going with Freddie Peralta, one of the best kept secrets as far as the Milwaukee Brewers organization. He's a guy that's going to strike out a lot of guys, and he's got a lot of baseball left in him. He's only 25 years old. He's going to be a guy that's going to go the distance for you. He's going to strike out a lot of guys and be awesome in the rotation. And that's going to do it here for my picks. Make sure you check out my channel, Jay from T&J. See you guys later.
Hey, what's going on, GG9? Appreciate you having me on this intro video for your baseball series, man. Let me tell you about my guys Joey Votto and Johnny Cueto and why I think they'd be so great for this league. Joey Votto reminds me of one of those guys that's a Walmart brand Derek Jeter, with how he has good vision, good contact hitter, and a decent defender. Meanwhile, Johnny Cueto used to be one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball, and I think he still can. But that's only my 2 cents. This is John J Gaming on the mic. That's John J Gaming on YouTube and Twitch. Back to you, my guy.
Man, thanks for having me. I already know that this league and this series is going to be absolutely amazing. Now, let's talk about the reason why I picked the guys that I picked. Tim Anderson and Amir Garrett. I mean, when you think about swag, when you think about players being unapologetically themselves, I don't know if there's another 2 guys that fit that bill. I mean, we got Tim Anderson, hits for average and power, and we got Amir Garrett, when healthy, one of the best flamethrowers in the league. If you guys want to see more of me, Uncle Sam's Reject, head over to my channel. We do everything franchise sports over there, pro, college, you name it. Hope to see you guys soon.
What is going on, beautiful people? This is Kaz Cray, formerly known as Craniac Gaming. I just want to say thank you to GG9 for allowing me to be a part of this. The 2 players that I picked were Marco Gonzalez and Kyle Seager, both of the Seattle Mariners. And pretty much I just picked them because they're my 2 favorite players on the Mariners outside of Kyle Lewis, who was already selected. And I'm excited to see how this goes. So thank you for having me on GG9 once again. If you guys aren't familiar with my channel, check me out on YouTube. Also check out my Twitch channel as well, where I'm a lot more active. And y'all have a good one. Deuces.
Thank you so much for having me on GGBL. I am super pumped for the league and super pumped for Nick Senzel and Emmanuel Place, both of which play with a lot of fire and passion, and those are two traits that I love seeing from our young players, and I think that they're both ready to take this league over. And I also love picking these two guys up in some of my franchise rebuilds over on my YouTube channel called Slacker Gaming.
Thank you, GG9, and thank you for having me on. The two players that I have chosen is shortstop Francisco Lindor and starting pitcher Sandy Alcantara. Alcantara's been one of my favorite pitchers in the league for a really long time, and he's still a young pitcher who is up and coming and does a great job with his breaking balls as well as his upper 90s fastball. Shortstop Frankie Lindor is no doubt, to me, the best shortstop in the league, all-around player. He plays great defense, he can hit for power, and he can get a lot of contact hits and hit for average. So those are my two players. Check out my channel if you want to see some franchise content. We have a Miami Marlins franchise going on over there on MLB The Show, so if you're interested, I think you would be interested in that series. Definitely check it out. And again, thank you, GG9, for having me on. Couldn't be more thankful. I'll see you soon.
It's always cool to get your YouTube pals into videos, get those collaborations going. I love doing that. So thank you guys for being involved here, and let's get started on the roster reveal, guys. So let's go to the Richmond Good Boys first, and we're going to talk about, only going to be looking at the lineups at the big league level. So AAA level, you can go check those out at the Google sheet that is available to you guys, but we're going to take a look at the lineup. We're going to take a look at the pitching rotation of each team and really just quickly just boom, 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 bang this thing out. So Darius Wilson's going to be our starting shortstop. He is a Discord player, so he's a nice young up-and-comer. He's 22 years old, B potential player. He's got some good contact, good fielding numbers, decent speed. Power numbers are severely lacking. He's a contact first and contact only type of guy. David Wright coming on in here. He is a 75 overall, so I did have to knock him down from the David Wright that's in the vault, so he's not a 99 or a 94 or whatever he was. He's knocked down to a 75. I feel like these are fair numbers, and you know, if he starts tearing it up, maybe I might move him down a little bit. But Kyle Lewis is probably the player that we're really hanging our hat on, plus Bobby Witt Jr. too. So what's interesting here is that Darius Wilson right now is stealing time away from Bobby Witt Jr. Pitching rotation, we have a lot of top 50 prospects. We got 3 of them in our pitching rotation. Daniel Lynch, Forrest Whitley, Aaron Ashby is not a top 50, but Clark Schmidt apparently is. Glenn Sparkman here, Justin Steele will be our lefty specialist. Plus this guy, Neo Zamora, is a Discord closer. He has no control. 28 control, 99 velo. That's really good. I think he should be our closer instead of this dude who is another Discord player. I don't know how to pronounce that. If you do, you let me know. Next up in the NL East, we have the Atlanta Sting. Tim LaCastro will be their player that provides all the speed out there in the outfield. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa was one of their top players that they chose in the fantasy draft. Hyun-Soo Kim, they took him to be their designated hitter. Nick Markakis actually is coming in here as well to come back to Atlanta. So I really thought about, we don't have a Baltimore team, so I really thought about getting him in to like Washington possibly, because that's who took over Baltimore, but you know, that just didn't happen. But Tim Beckham, going to be a solid player for them at second base. Toribio, nice player, top 50 prospect. Ryan Castile and Christian Pache. Pitching rotation-wise, this is a pretty solid one, guys. 83 overall, Dustin May, going to be their ace. Thad Ward's actually a long reliever here. I'd actually consider putting Thad Ward in for Erasmo Ramirez or Homer Bailey. Even though Homer Bailey's a 73, I just don't really trust him at the starting position. So they're kind of weird with their starting rotation. They're a little old in some spots, but they're also really young in others. So it's a decent team. I just don't know how they're going to handle these old guys that might be weighing their rotation down a little bit. Next up, one of my favorite teams, the Miami Moonshots here in the NL East. You got this guy, Javon Brown, is going to be a Discord player. He's going to be serving as the DH. You saw him in some of the highlights. Tim Lopez, Cody Bellinger. This is going to be a big-time player for them. Cody Bellinger, already one of the best players in the major leagues. He is going to absolutely feast on these pitchers that you've already seen their ratings. And then Michael Brassell might actually have a really great year, a career type of season here in the GGBL. Wilmer Flores coming on over, getting more playing time. Ryan Healy. It's a pretty, I mean, you look at this Miami Moonshot team, and literally they are embracing the name. They're going to hit a lot of home runs. Now, as far as pitching rotation here, they do have some older presence here with Dallas Keuchel coming over. You got Dane Dunning, who's 26. He's starting to reach his prime area here. Josh James at 27. Luis Medina, young, and then Blake Cedarland at 23. It's a decent starting rotation. I don't know if it's one of the better ones in the NL East, but I think their offense is what's going to carry them. Next up in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Flight, we have D. Gordon leading them off at second base. You got Christian Robinson out there in right field. David Dahl will be their primary guy with hitting. Actually, they got some pretty good hitters. They got maybe one of the best 3-4-5s in this league, really. David Dahl, Kyle Seager, and Chase Utley, who is, yes, 42 years old, and he's going to be the primary designated hitter. He's not going to be playing the field at all. I mean, why would you do that? He's old. He's got those creaky knees. But it's a very decent team, a good hitting team. I'm actually excited about watching the Philadelphia Flight. Pitching rotation-wise, they are going to be led by Yu Darvish. So Yu Darvish is one of those players that came on over. Now, everybody else outside of Yu Darvish, I'm a little shaky with, right? Mike Foltynewicz has had maybe one good season back in 2018. Everything else has been upwards of 4. He's got to figure it out here at the GGBL level. I think he might be able to, but that remains to be seen. And last but not least, again, one of my favorite teams here, the Carolina Blue Sox. Now, if there were ever a team that was going to be involved in the MLB expansion that they've been talking about, it's got to be Carolina. And they got to be the Carolina Blue Sox. You just got to do it. And you have to be Carolina Blue. That's the way it's got to go. Zach Granite, no power, all contact and speed and fielding, so that's going to be a good DH for. Well, I don't know, man. Maybe they need to put him out in the outfield versus DH. You got to utilize that speed a little bit, plus those fielding numbers. But Luis Arias, very good second baseman with contact. No power, though. The power is really going to have to come from Juan Soto and Josh Ockamy. Yeah, so Ockamy is going to have to be a X factor for them. Even at a 66 overall, he's going to have to be a guy that they lean on. This guy, Seiko Ichiman, he's got a player Twitter, so go out there and follow him, guys. He's a very active guy. He's going to probably tweet a lot in Japanese, so you got to watch out for that. But he's a top 50 prospect, apparently, and he's a Discord prospect as well. So make sure you guys are watching out for Seiko Ichiman. Now, the pitching for the Blue Sox might actually be their strength, because when I'm looking at that offense, outside of Juan Soto, I didn't see a whole lot there, right? So Dakota Hudson got a lot of potential there at a B. He's 25. He can grow for them. Felix Hernandez at a 74 and Sean Reed Foley at a 73. Mike Leake at a 71. So this is actually one of the higher rated pitching staffs in all the GGBL. All right, let's go to the National League Central, and we have Nick Madrigal, Derek Carrot IV. He's a Discord prospect player at third base. Josh Reddick, Tristan Kasich, Jared Kelenic, one of the best prospects in all of the major leagues, is coming on over here to the GGBL as well. Then Owen Miller at a 69. So very, very decent team offensively. I'm actually really excited to see how Kelenic does outside of everybody here on this list. The cool thing here about Dallas is that they do have that 1-2 punch. They got DeGrom and they've got Kelenic. So two guys that you're really going to want to watch out for here in this league. But Wade LeBlanc at a 72. Jack Melton is a custom prospect, a Discord player. Jarrell Cotton, who, you know what, I've actually liked throughout his career, but maybe he might have had 1 or 2 good seasons, and then with Oakland, and now he's just kind of gone, right? And then Ryan Jensen here. So, Dallas's pitching staff outside of Jacob deGrom, not really existent. So maybe you hope for Jack Melton to actually come through and do something. But yeah, Dallas is kind of one of those weird teams. Next up in the NL Central, we have the Nashville Heat. And if you guys can't tell, if you guys are from Nashville, by the way, you will know why I call them the Heat. It's Nashville Hot, the chicken, the chicken. It's about the chicken. Do you get it? Okay, anyway, bad joke, but it still remains, they're a pretty cool team. Red, white, black, the Heat, Nashville Heat, I like it. Ian Miller, 68. Marcano, a 68. Good defense, you know, that's pretty much all he's going to offer this team. But Andrew Vaughn, Ryan Braun, Jose Garcia, and Keibert Ruiz. This is a pretty interesting team offensively. Plus, they got Simon Muzziotti. Either way, you know, potato, lasagna, lasagna. I'm making stuff up now, but this is a pretty good hitting team. I like them. And then this guy here, I love this player right here, guys. Demetrius Edwards George. He is a custom prospect as well. Make sure you watch out for this player. Now, his contact is about a 50-55. His power, he has no power, right? He's a contact machine, speed, and fielding. He's one of those types of players, and I'm actually interested to see how he's going to progress in this league. If anything, he's a 70. I'd be starting him over Marcano for sure. Pitching staff for the Heat is actually one of the better of the GGBL teams. You got Freddie Peralta. Thank you to Jay from T&J to reveal him. And then you got Brady Singer and Josiah Gray as well. Nick Margavacious right there, and then Yeri Rodriguez at a 69. So it actually is a pretty interesting group and a solid starting five. Next up, we have the Houston Copperheads. We have Denzel Good, which is a custom player. Drew Waters, a top 50. Mike Yastrzemski, Josh Donaldson, Gregory Polanco, Maybreeze Valoria, Donovan Casey, Michael Bush, and Asdrubal Cabrera, plus Alejandro De Aza. So they have a lot of former Major League Baseball players here on this team, and I think Houston might be a very sleeper-esque type of team. Now, we'll take a look at their pitching staff to see if that can actually hold up, but I think everything is looking pretty solid here for Houston. They got Spencer Turnbull, Louis Perdomo, Cesar Vargas, Lewis Thorpe, and Jesus Castillo. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty tough team. The Houston Copperheads might give some teams a little bit of a surprise. Next up in the NL Central, we have the New Orleans Swing. We have Jordan Westberg and then Jace Peterson at DH. Ryan Mountcastle and Ryan O'Hearn are going to probably supply all the power here. Nick Senzel's batting a little lower in the order. I think I'd probably want to put him up towards the top. And then we have a custom prospect here, DJ Hard. This is a former XBA player that wants to try his hand at baseball. So yeah, so he's going to give it a shot here. I think I like DJ Hard to make an impact here, but pretty solid team. I don't know if they're gonna do well. I think that they're just solid. Pitching staff wise, this is what's gonna carry them, guys. Trevor Bauer at 95 overall, Rick Porcello, Tyson Ross, Jose Suarez, and Jacob Nix. Okay, so this team is gonna be focused primarily on the pitching, and I hope they do well with pitching staff because I think they're just too good to fail in this league. So again, you guys will be looking at this being like, Goldie, what are you talking about? These are terrible pitchers, dude. 74, 69, what are you talking about? It's all relative in this league. I think that these guys will be just fine. All right, last but not least in the NL Central, we have the St. Louis Maroons. Darnell Sweeney leading them off there at left field. We got Alfredo Rodriguez, Joey Wendell to be the 3-hitter, Kyle Tucker, Neftali Soto, Jaron Duran, Chad De La Guerra, Andrew Donovan, which will be a custom player at a 70 overall, and then Patrick Kivlahan at a 70 as well here. This is a pretty decent team. I like their offense, really. I think that they do a lot of things well. I think they're very well balanced. Kyle Tucker there with an overall of 75 and very well balanced there. Joey Wendell, good contact for a 3-guy. Pitching rotation, this is what makes St. Louis even tougher. They have a 95 overall Shane Bieber, right? Outside of that, with Algier, Wiles, Yamaguchi, and Humberto Mejia, there's not much to write home about, but it is Shane Bieber led, and it is a good offensive led team, so watch out for St. Louis. All right, kicking off the NL West, we have Travis Jankowski for the Portland Pioneers. At DH here, we got Mike Miller, we got Anthony Rizzo, and Starling Marte, so they got 2 84 overall players here, plus Dom T. Williams, Jake Rogers, and Sheldon Neuse. So it's a pretty interesting 1-2 punch here with Rizzo and Marte. Now, if I'm the manager, I'm probably putting Marte number 2. That's probably what I'm wanting to do, to get him more at-bats and get him towards the top of the order. But I cannot kind of understand that you want the major league caliber hitter here at number 4. Pitching rotation-wise, we got Josh Lindblom leading the way, Tuki Toussaint, who, guys, by the way, is 22 years old still. I mean, he made his major league debut 4 years ago when he was 18. I mean, what is that? He's got A potential. You got Scott Kazmir here, Reynaldo Lopez, and Nick Tropiano. It's a pretty decent Portland Pioneers team, so don't sleep on the Pioneers either. They're going to be a pretty decent squad. Colorado Coyotes, this is one of my favorite teams here. A very interesting group of players. We got Mikey White at third, Luis Liberato at left field, Tim Anderson, Will Myers, Paxton Burnside, a custom prospect at the DH spot. Maybe he might be wanting to play a little first base, but look at the fielding numbers, guys. Yeah, Paxton's got to work on that fielding number. So he's going to be primary designated hitter while Jed Jerko leads the way at first base, but it is going to be a very decent Colorado team. At least as far as hitting goes, they're going to be pretty decent. But pitching staff-wise, Joey Lucchesi, Brendan McKay, Chad Kuhl, Daniel De Los Santos, Matt Cantarino, they're going to be pretty solid as well. Plus, they got Matt Strom here at the relief spot as a lefty specialist, Pedro Strop, Avalon, and Pedro Baez. So watch out for Colorado's pitching staff. That is literally their strength. Los Angeles Knights. I love these uniforms. There's just something about them that I just can't get over. But they've got a nice 1-2 punch here with Castellanos and Conforto. So between these two guys, that's going to be a tough out to get, guys. 3 and 4. Nice little 1-2 punch. Plus they got Nick Maton here. He's pretty decently well sought after. But Corey Lee at a 69, plus Carter Keyboom. I mean, they're young, and they've got two guys that are going to carry them on offense. Pitching rotation-wise, we have a very good pitching staff here. You got Sugano at a 75, you got Wes Benjamin at a 70, and then Akito Radon, another Japanese player who pitches lights out at 69 overall. You got Antonio Santos. Shane McClanahan is a top 50 prospect, plus Emerson Hancock as well is a top 50. So decent overall team all the way around. San Diego, the Defenders. I like their offense. I actually do. Virgil Underhill, a custom prospect, is got no contact, almost literally no contact, but all power. That's all he is. That's all he is. Look at those fielding numbers. He's a Gold Glove caliber first baseman. There's no reason that he can't succeed here at the GGBL level. Gerardo Parra, still kicking, still going, age 33, still going strong. We got Taylor Trammell here, top 50. It's a solid roster all the way around. I think San Diego has done really well for themselves. They've got some major league caliber talent here that has had a lot of experience out there. Torreyes has got experience, Parra's got experience, Heredia's got experience, JT Riddle. We got Blake Swihart with experience, and then we have this guy, Nacho Molina. This is one of my favorite catchers, custom prospect from Mexico. Look at Nacho Molina. He's gonna be a good one, man. So you watch out for Nacho. You just watch out for this team, the San Diego Defenders. Pitching rotation wise, again, just the 1-2 punches here, guys. Tony Gonsolin and Marco Gonzalez, plus Casey Lawrence, Bernardo Flores, and Connor Wade. This is a very decent staff. I think it's very well balanced. But I think between their offense, their experience, and this 1-2 punch here with pitching, San Diego's going to be tough too. And last but not least, the San Francisco Grizzlies in the NL West. We have Kyle Holder, Adam Hastley, Christian Yelich, Keston Hiura, Cole Calhoun, Derek Dietrich, Jason Vossler, Evan Gaddis. This team has got a ton of power. A ton of power. And then we have this guy, Satchel Michaels, another custom prospect from Discord. He's got a lot of swag here, guys. Look at that neon green, man. Gotta love it. But in that beard, how do you go wrong with the beard? But you know what? I wanted to really pay homage to the San Francisco Giants. They're one of my favorite teams, and I just felt like, what screams San Francisco baseball? Off-white jerseys, black and orange, right? I mean, how can I not? How could I not do it? But very good offense, guys. Plus Christian Yelich at a 96. You look at these numbers, man. You got Hiura, Yelich, and Calhoun. Who do you get out? Who do you get out? Pitching rotation, also very solid for San Fran. Yanni Chirino, 77. Rennie, 70. Tyler Beede, a 70. Swanson and Cody Ponce, 67, guys. Very good team. Bullpen, the back end, Robertson, Moranta, and James Hoyt. They're just a tough team overall. With the National League done, we are now in the American League. Let's move out to the AL East, and we have the Washington Swamp Monsters, who have replaced the Baltimore Orioles. So Corey Ray, I've always liked Corey Ray, very good player. And then look at this offense. This offense is legit too. You got Brock Holt, you got a nice number 1 with Ray, Holt and number 2. Votto is number 3. Brandon Lowe at an 88. Matt Kemp is coming back as well, guys. He was in the free agents here. and Alexander King, a Discord prospect as well, Steven Duggar, Alex Jackson. Like, this offense for Washington might be one of the better ones that we've seen, maybe even the most well-balanced ones that we've seen. Pitching rotation-wise, Kyle Gibson, Brent Honeywell Jr., Sean Dubin, Grayson Rodriguez, and Patrick Sandoval. Only one lefty with Patrick Sandoval, but a very well-balanced rotation. A team I'm not overly impressed with, but I could be surprised, is Boston. The Boston Revolution. They got Jonathan Davis here at a 64 as a DH. You got Robbie Grossman. Carlos Correa is their stud. Mike Ford, Alex Kirilloff, Charles LeBlanc, Edward Olivares, Jonah Heim at catcher, and Miguel Geraldo at third base. I don't know if I like this offense as much. We'll take a look at their pitching staff to see what they got. This is kind of where we see a little bit more balance here. They got Sandy Alcantara. Thank you, FG, for revealing that. They got Kohei Arihara and Jared Cherry, a custom prospect there. And then Jordan Balazovic and Tom Eshelman. It's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. They've got more balance here. I think that the pitching staff is what's going to carry this team. A lot of low scoring. Now, New York is actually kind of interesting. So the pizzazz, the New York pizzazz, not the pizzas, but if you want to meme it to death, go for it. The New York pizzazz. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to capture New York a little bit. The feel, right? The red, the yellow, the blue. Get a little Mets feel in there too. Plus the Yankees with the pinstripes. Well, Mets, I guess, wear pinstripes. Anyway, point being, New York with Bryce Harper. I mean, that's a match made to heaven, right? Evan Longoria. New York loves their old guys. Evan Longoria coming through here at third base. And then, I don't know about this offense either. Jose Trevino, Sam Travis. I mean, they're going to get carried by Harper and Longoria. Maybe Delmonico is going to have to be the guy, the X factor in this lineup at a 69, but yeah, the offense is going to really run through Bryce Harper, and hopefully these other guys can kind of pick up the slack a little bit. Rotation. This is actually a decent rotation. They got two lefties, Cole Hamels and Brett Anderson, the vets of the crew. Casey Mize, the young and up-and-comer, so hopefully he can really bloom into something. And then they got Chase Shugart and then Paul Blackburn at 27. So nice balance there with the rotation. You take what you get with Cole Hamels at this point at 37 years old. He's probably got one more season left, and then that's probably it for him. But here's a prospect here, Oleksiy Shevchuk. This is a very decent player. I'm actually concerned that he's not starting in the starting rotation. If anything, I'd probably move him for Chase Shugart or Paul Blackburn. Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Hammers. Obviously, with Pittsburgh, you got to go black and yellow. Have to. Otherwise, what are you doing? Jake Knoll at a 69. Connor Altman, a first baseman that can rake. He's pretty good at fielding as well at a 75, but Aaron Judge is going to be the guy that does everything, man. A 97 power, 99 power, good fielder as well. They're going to rely on him. And then Christian Vasquez. Hopefully they can get a little more out of him offensively. He's got that 70 contact against righties. The power number's not necessarily all the way there, but hopefully they can dig a little bit, and he can be a good player for him. But JJ Bleday, top 50 player. Jason Kipnis still not hanging it up. He's still hanging on. Stevie Wilkerson and Anderson Tejada. Bubba Thompson and Ryan Weathers, actually the starting pitcher we'll talk about later. But Bubba Thompson, good player defensively. He's got to work on the offense. But Pittsburgh's offense actually looks like it's got a lot of power to it. Go figure. Rotation-wise, Miles McColas, Mike Montgomery, the lefty, and then Ryan Weathers, like we talked about, the lefty here. Joey Murray and Jordan Zimmerman, the vet. One of my favorite teams, the Michigan Mallards, not because I'm from Michigan, but because who doesn't like teams that are made of ducks or named after ducks, have ducks as their mascot. Hoi Jun Park at second base is 71. Geraldo Perdomo, shortstop, top 50. Alex Bregman, Bobby Bradley, nice 1-2 punch here. I don't know about Bobby Bradley, though, with the contact numbers. Maybe he'll come through. Maybe he won't. Maybe Carlson goes up in front of him at the number 4 spot eventually. Pitching rotation for Michigan. They got Justice Sheffield, Keegan Aiken, Ollie Finger, a Discord player, Seth Johnson, Matt Manning, top 50 player for the Tigers, and then DL Hall. I almost called this team BC Chicago for our Chicago team in the XBA. So this is actually the Chicago Breeze. Thank you, Spagoo, who is from Chicago, to add in the little flag there, the Chicago City flag, and a little star outline on the jersey. Looks pretty sweet. But we got Danny Mendick, who is a Chicago White Sox, so kind of funny that he is up here with the Chicago team. Logan Forsythe, going to be a decent number 2 hitter. Alec Boehm, very good number 3. And then Ethan Letterman, a shortstop from Israel. I put him at Washington, D.C. because Israel doesn't even have a city or a location to choose from when you create players in this game. So Yoenis Cespedes here at left, and then Rangel Ravello. It's a pretty solid team. You know, I think they've got some good things to look forward to. I just want to see their pitching staff to really get a feel of this team. Garrett Cole. There you go. So Chicago might be pretty decent. They got Jordan Yamamoto. You got Asher Wojciechowski, Mason Thompson, and Connor Fisk. It's going to be a solid team, but I think that offense really needs to help out Garrett Cole. One of my favorite teams, the Columbus Cardinals. This is actually a solid team too. I think they're all solid team. I think have I said that any team is not solid in this review? But Ben Gamel should hit for a high average in this league. You got Chris Shaw, Frankie Lindor, obviously going to be one of the studs here in this league. JD Davis, very good hitter for this squad. You got Aristides Aquino, Greg Bird. This team's got a lot of power, man. This team's got a lot of power. So I'd watch out for Columbus. Diave Garcia, Robbie Ray, Tyson Miller, Mark LaPierre, who is a custom player as well, Matthew Thompson, Liberator. I mean, man, Oliver Perez, Will Harris. This team, Columbus, I'm actually really surprised that this pitching staff is as good as it is. Watch out for Columbus, man. This has been one of the more impressive rosters that I've seen. By the way, guys, we are in the AL Central, by the way. So we did have teams like the Breeze are in the Central. The Michigan Mallets are in the East, so just FYI. So we got the Central with the Breeze, the Cardinals, and the Rams. That's what we're going to talk about here with the Indiana Rams. And I'm not impressed with the Rams here. I do like Nate Lowe. You know, it's funny because a lot of the guys are pronouncing it differently. So it's either Nate Lowe or Nate Lowe, Lowy. It's weird. Miguel Andujar, I like these two players here. Carlos Asuaje as the number 3. That's a little weak sauce, man. Yara Munoz at the number 2. That's a little weak as well. This is a pretty good start. Nobody's below a 70. And we haven't seen that with any pitching staffs here in the GGBL. Noah Syndergaard going to carry the weight. Tanner Roark. I mean, the rating doesn't lie, right? 73. So we'll see how he does, but I'm not expecting much from Tanner Roark. I'll just put that out there. But Parker Bridwell at a 71. Jeremiah Port, a Discord prospect, should be solid there. And then Duke Grayson also is a Discord prospect. So they got a nice little lefty punch here, 1-2 punch with Port and Grayson. So we'll see how this team does. The Wisconsin Maples, one of my favorite jersey concepts and logos. I like this team. I think that they're going to be pretty solid. They got Joey Gallo and Matt Justice, plus Edwin Encarnacion. So they got a lot of power with that 3-4-5. And Matt Justice is a Discord prospect as well, guys. Seth Beer, very well, all-around good hitter. Kelvin Gutierrez, good defender at third. Kevin Kramer, decent all the way around. Dalton Pompey, going to be a nice little leadoff guy. They got Tyler Mahle, they got Yang, Nate Pearson, Taylor Cole, and Chance Adams. It's not bad, it's decent. Harold Gonzalez at a starting pitcher. He is going to be one of their top 50 prospects at a 67. If anything, I might move Chance Adams for Harold Gonzalez. Give this guy a chance to prove that he can compete at this level. So it's a decent staff. It's a decent team. I don't think they're going to be bottom feeders by any means, but you know, everything's got to go right for them in order for that to happen. But their offense is very legit with that 3-4-5. Last team in the American League Central, we've got the Minnesota Jacks. And just like San Francisco, like I wanted to pay homage to the Giants uniforms, I wanted to pay homage to the Minnesota Gophers, the Golden Gophers uniforms and their colors, guys. I mean, what screams Minnesota to you? Up north, wilderness, Minnesota. It's got to be the gold and burgundy. It's got to be. So they got Michael Gigliotti here at 68. Solak is obviously a very good hitter. I like the Nick Solak pick here for Minnesota. Joe Mauer coming out of retirement to Minnesota. It just looks funny to me, but it looks good anyway. They got Randy Arozarena. They got Mike Price, who is a decent hitter, Discord prospect as well. Brett Lawrie is coming out. He's playing at this level too. This is a very good offense. Johan Camargo, decent hitter, very good defender. This is going to be a very decent team. Minnesota, watch out for Minnesota. Pitching rotation-wise, they got Jake Odorizzi, Samardzija, Stripling, Hell, Castellani, Chris Clark at closer, Corey Guerin, Dylan Covey. That's a good pitching staff, man. I think Minnesota is going to make some noise. The last and final division, guys. The AL West. Let's talk about it. We've got the Santa Fe Spirit. Got Keon Broxton leading them off. We got Bryson Stott, a player that I really wanted for Richmond, but I couldn't make it happen in the fantasy draft. Wilson Contreras, their star player, plus Chris Davis, Justin Bohr, Jamie Romack. They got a ton of power here too. This is a very good offensive team from 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down to 6. Plus Vargas against lefties. I mean, man, oh man, 69 power at second base. That's pretty solid too. As far as their pitching staff goes, they got Sixto Sanchez, Jimmy Polanski, a custom player, Tommy Wilson, Shane Baz, and Bryce Elder. Next up, the Oklahoma Hawks. So this is one of my teams that I really like, and it's Luis Garcia here at second base, leading them off. Pete Kozma is making a, I don't know if you want to say comeback, but he's still hanging around. He's not giving up, just like Jason Kipnis. But you have Mookie Betts on this team. And anytime you have Mookie Betts on a team, you are going to be automatically a winner. You have to be a winner. That's all this guy does is win. So Mookie Betts, one of the better players in the GGBL. Plus you got Matt Davidson with the power, Dwight Smith Jr., a good hitter all the way around, Steven Souza with some powers. Plus you got Spencer Torkelson coming up here as well, going to provide you some of that power too. So it's a good team, man. I like Oklahoma. I think they're going to be a pretty solid team. Now, probably I don't want to say the better part of Oklahoma, but like, how can you argue the pitching staff here? You got Corbin Martin, Mackenzie Gore, Luke Weaver. You got Reagan Landish, a custom player, Jeffrey Pasantino. It's about 5:30 in the morning here, guys, just FYI. But, you know, you've got a pretty decent bullpen as well by comparison to other teams. Oklahoma could surprise. Now, the Las Vegas Nuggets, I'm not too impressed with the Las Vegas Nuggets offense. They got Malik Smith leading them off. You got Rod Krenzel, a Discord player. Freddie Freeman. Now, how often do you say that Freddie Freeman on any team, you're not impressed with their offense? Well, I'm not really. I think that they need somebody else to help them out. I mean, maybe that's Yasiel Puig. Maybe Puig helped this team out eventually, but, you know, down the line, maybe in July. But, you know, he's got to get it going, like, early, because otherwise these guys like Krenzel, Arcia, Netzer, Ibanez, they're going to need a lot of help. So between 3, 4, and 5, they're going to need some help, a lot of it, because you've got the major league experience here with Maben, Puig, and Freeman. I'm not a big fan. I like the Nuggets as a team, as a concept, but I hope that they figure it out offensively for Freddie Freeman's sake and for you Nuggets fans out there. Now, pitching staff-wise, they got Johnny Cueto, Jamie Barria, Braylon Marquez, John Duplantier, and Andrew Wantz. So, I'm not a big fan of the Nuggets right now. I think that they have a lot of work to do. I could be wrong. I think maybe if they surprise me, I'll be the first one to say that I was wrong. But you know what? Johnny Cueto should have a good go at shutting down some of these offenses that we've seen in this league. But, you know, 3, 4, 5 for pitching staff is a question mark. Next up, we have the Phoenix Firebirds. Now, this is an offensive unit that I actually think is pretty solid, that I think people might be sleeping on a little bit. They got Jose Devers, solid player. I don't know about leadoff, but he's going to be okay. Got Billy Burns still. Used to play for Kansas City and I believe Texas at one point. But Jesse Winker is definitely their top hitter, right? Renato Nunez is going to supply that power. Danny Santana is no slouch. Charlie Culberson's a pretty good second baseman that's going to give you some pop. Robinson Chirinos is definitely going to be a good hitter for you at the catcher spot. Drew Mendoza and Andy Burns. So, you know what? This team, don't be sleeping on the Phoenix Firebirds. They're a pretty solid team offensively. Let's take a look at their staff, though. That's always the question mark. Pitching staff, they're led by Max Fried, Anibal Sanchez, Rico Ramos Jr., a custom player, Asa Lacey, and Zach Logue. So, you know, I don't really like their staff. I mean, Max Fried, yeah, he's great, but he's not Jacob deGrom, and he's not Trevor Bauer. So with that type of offense, you're going to need Max Fried to like be that X factor for your staff for certain. And then even Rico Ramos has got to come through and be a solid number 3, possible number 2 guy. Because I don't know if Anibal Sanchez has a lot left in the tank here at 37 years old, right? So Rico Ramos, we're looking at you, sir, to help out and get it done. The last team that we are revealing here would be the Seattle Emeralds, guys. I love this team. I think that they've got a ton of things going for them as far as youth is concerned. Jesse Franklin, a top 50 prospect. Kenneth Alexander Jr., who we're going to talk a lot about in this series, top 50 prospect. Discord prospect. Wander Franco, top 50. Adley Rushman, top 50 at catcher. This team has got a lot of things going on for them. They're a very good hitting team. Willie Calhoun, Wander Franco, Domingo Santana, Ryder Jones can hold his own. Harold Ramirez, very good hitter. I mean, what can't this team do? Nico Hornert, good defensive second baseman. I mean, this team is scary good offensively, and we'll take a look at their staff, see if they can hang. Pitching staff outside of the top 2, Urias and James Monroe, Discord prospect as well. Those are the guys that have followed the UAB series way back when. That's a throwback name for you guys, James Monroe. But Corey Oswalt, Derek Rodriguez, and Hans Kraus, they've got a lot of building to do, in my opinion. You got Oswalt here at 25, Rodriguez at 26 and 21. So these two guys, Oswalt and Rodriguez, maybe they have a resurgence and they find some of their better years. Derek Rodriguez essentially needs to find that better year at 2018 at a 2.81. But, you know, I like this team. Plus Garrett Crochet, 72. He can get up to 100, right? As a lefty, that's really, really rare. Tyler Clippard. This is a team that's very good. I think that they're going to give a lot of teams some run. And you would be wise to be a Seattle Emeralds fan because they're going to have a lot of good things happen to them in this series. I can already feel it. They got all those top 50 prospects. It's going to be a good stretch run here for Seattle Emeralds fans. So now that we are done with the roster reveal, guys, we're at 1 hour and 6 minutes. So I appreciate you guys for watching this whole thing. I know it's a long video, but there is a ton of stuff to talk about and set up for this league. So if you guys have made it through the whole video, make sure you let me know in the comment section that you made it through the whole vid. Just tell me that you made it through. It'll make me feel good about it. All right, guys, upload schedule. We're going to be uploading on Mondays and Thursdays, highlight reel type of Sports Center type of highlights. We'll show 7 games for each upload. So Monday will have 7 games, Thursday is going to have 7 games, and then on Friday, we're actually going to do a game of the week live stream on the other platform. You guys know what other platform I'm talking about. So we'll have it over there. So if you are not subscribed or not following me over there, please do so you don't miss the game of the week. Other than that, that is really going to be it. I'm going to actually be live streaming the Richmond Good Boys games over on the other platform as well. And then what will happen there is that could happen on like a Wednesday, that could happen on over the weekend of some sort. So it doesn't matter when it happens, but I will be live streaming Richmond Good Boys games over there, and then we will chop up those highlight reels or that game and we'll throw them in on a Monday upload or a Thursday upload so that you guys can see the highlight reels of that live stream game. So with that being said, that is it. That is all I have for you guys here for the GGBL. We talked about everything under the sun for the league. If you have any questions, please comment in the comment section. Message me on Discord. Message me on Twitter. Let me know if you have any questions. I will do my best to try to answer you. It's probably best, though, to try to reach me on Discord. So please join the Discord and either ask in the GGBL section or let the mod team know you have a question. They will probably have more availability to answer those questions for you guys. So that is it, guys. Leave a like if you like this thing. I will see you on Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday and Friday. We're going to be uploading the first week of GGBL action Wednesday and Friday. So guys, I will see you then. As always, thank you for watching and peace.